Championship rematch was brought to you by Pizza Hut, home of the half-price pizza policy, and in part by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
It is bedlam here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke is number 4, but they're moving up with a bullet after knocking off the number 1 Michigan Wolverines in the national championship rematch. Hello again, I am Tim Brando. It's been a pleasure to host this one for you. We mentioned at the top of the show, Cherokee Parks would be under a microscope. A little footnote. Last year, Christian Laettner had 19 points in 36 minutes. Tonight, Cherokee Parks had 15 points, playing better than 30 minutes. So he came through in the clutch. Bobby Hurley, still the Iron Man, playing all 40 minutes tonight, and never was he beleaguered through the course of the game. Let's go now to Bucky Waters, who has Thomas Hill and Bobby Hurley.
Thank you, Tim. 40-minute man, Bobby Hurley. You got him off to a great start, and you just wouldn't let him lose.
Yeah, we were real confident coming in. They were obviously confident with their words, but we were confident with our play tonight. That's what mattered.
Thomas, coach was very strong all week about not talking, not celebrating, but you almost had to at the end of this one, didn't you?
Yeah, I think we did a great job as a team at staying focused and really not letting the crowd and the surroundings get to us. We kept to our game plan and we executed well.
All right, playing the big guard, Jalen Rose. You had a lot of experience with Walt Williams.
Yeah, it's tough playing a guy like that. He could really shoot over me, but I tried to frustrate him a little bit with my ball pressure and use my quickness.
Cherokee Parks, big.
Great performance, tell you. He put some numbers on the board for us head-to-head against Chris Webber. He played a great game.
The seniors did it. They struggled early. They hung in there. Tim Brando.
All right, Bucky, you do have to give credit to Steve Fisher's team. I mean, after all, this team came up big at a point in time when they were ready to be blown out in the second half. Jalen Rose, for a brief time, lost his composure. Chris Webber, interestingly, did not start the second half of this game after picking up a couple of cheap fouls, really a non-factor until about the 10-minute mark of the second half. It was at that point the Wolverines mounted an 8-0 run, and at one point cut it down to 5. Stay with us. More post-game activities continue after this word from your local stations. This is the Raycom Network.
Imagine a new car so durable, its paint resists chips and salt and even birds. When scratched, one of its protective coatings actually seals itself. And what's more, it may never need waxing. You know something's changed when even the paint job is a work of art. Intrepid. This changes everything.
In the last 10 years, deaths caused by drunk driving have decreased by 20%, saving an estimated 40,000 lives. Now, if you think that's reason to celebrate, you're right. Just don't do it behind the wheel of a car. I'm Maury Povich. For more information on how you can help save lives, call 1-800-GET-MAD. Please drive smart. Drive sober.
The Duke Blue Devils, 79. The Michigan Wolverines, 68. The Devils are now 2-0. The Wolverines, after beating Rice, are now 1-1. And there you see the story, the difference really at the stripe. 17 more for the Blue Devils and only 4 of 11 for the Wolverines. This is something I'm sure Steve Fisher will take a long, hard look at after this one is over. On the boards, the Wolverines got the job done, 44-33, but again, the turnovers negated that. They committed 19 during the course of the game. And those cheap turnovers, the early turnovers, were the factor. It allowed Duke to control tempo through the rest of the ballgame. One old Duke coach with a current coach, and he's a great one. Let's go back to Bucky Waters.
Mike, no one could really get in gear tonight, but, you know, it was a great basketball game, strictly from effort.
Well, you're not going to score easy buckets tonight. I mean, there are too many good players out there. So, to me, it was a great basketball game because both teams played so hard. And 2 kids for us really came of age, Cherokee Parks and Marty Clark. And then our little guy, Bobby Hurley. It was a tremendous game by Bobby Hurley. I mean, he hit that big 3 when we were struggling. And then just 40 minutes, Iron Man, and that's why I'm a good coach, because of a kid like him.
The icing on the cake was to get a win like this with Grant Hill really not going on all cylinders.
Well, and the foul trouble, Bucky. You know, like we need Tony Lang in there. Tony Lang's a good player, and then Grant was frustrated a little bit, and hey, he's playing against big-time players. So we had two of our key guys out in critical stretches, and Eric Meek stepped up also.
You said you didn't want them to celebrate, but they couldn't be restrained.
Well, it was nice, and I'm glad for our students because they really gave us a big boost.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tim?
You know, they say great coaches know when to make adjustments. Krzyzewski made an adjustment. He went zone late in the first half. It paid dividends and has helped him win a couple of titles. We'll be right back.
Michael Jordan in Hanes briefs. Michael Jordan in new improved Hanes briefs. It's hard to believe something this great could actually get even better. The new comfort of Hanes briefs. Better fit, better feel, better than ever.
Just wait until we get a Hanes on you.
You probably think the best American car value is some little econo box you have to settle for, right? Nope. It's a Buick. The luxurious Buick Park Avenue. That's according to the complete car cost guide. They calculated the 5-year cost of depreciation, financing, insurance, fuel, maintenance, and repairs, and found that Park Avenue is the best American car value. For a free reprint from the complete car cost guide, call 1-800-4-BUICK.
Back in Cameron Indoor Stadium, where Duke knocks off #1 Michigan by a final score of 79-68. To sustain greatness takes a lot, and I think Bill Raftery and Tim Brandt will agree that the Blue Devils are once again proving that they do not grow complacent, though they may have exceeded their dreams by winning 2 back-to-back national titles. Tim and Billy?
No, I still, Tim, don't believe when they said this was not a critical ball game. There was a tremendous amount of pressure and intensity in this building that you could feel. And your final impressions?
Well, sustaining greatness, I just think it's the attack philosophy of Mike Krzyzewski. Getting to the foul line is not easy, but when you penetrate, when you're aggressive defensively, good things happen in the open floor. And just as Mike mentioned, with Bobby Hurley, you become a wonderful coach, a great leader, and just a terrific distributor of the basketball.
Tremendous talent on both sides. I think a little more discipline tonight on the Duke sideline, and of course the free throws, the biggest difference.
And I think Michigan too, I mean, you have to admire them. They looked like they were out of it. They came back, they had poise. I think they'll pick up a lot of interesting things that'll make them tough to beat. They've got great inside people. Use them. Let them get to the foul line. They'll be a threat, I think, in that Big Ten conference, as well as the final picture.
It's been fun, partner.
It has been. Good to be back with you, Tim.
All right, let's go back downstairs now. Here's Tim Brando.
All right, Tim, thank you very much. A real key in this ball game, the play of Bobby Hurley. But as we mentioned, the one noticeable change cosmetically for both of these teams going into this game was Cherokee Parks. He played with his back to the basket, but he also came up big when facing the basket from time to time, and he negated the play of Chris Webber to a point at which Steve Fisher decided to sit him to start the second half, although he only had 2 fouls. You have to credit Juwan Howard for taking up the slack, and also the play of Riley off of the bench. Michigan appeared to be deep. They appeared to come together, and that's something Steve Fisher can call upon as the Big Ten season gets underway in what is a very powerful conference. For Duke, their bench will have to improve if they are to win the ACC, but with Bobby Hurley playing for 40, he will make a difference. For Tim Brandt, Bill Raftery.
Welcome to Pizza Hut College Basketball. One of the grandest settings in all of college basketball, the Cameron Indoor Arena,
Durham, North Carolina, home of the 2-time defending champion Duke Blue Devils, and today they're matched against UCLA. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brad Musburger. This is the time of the year when you've got one eye on the NCAA tournament. Now, if the committee were to seed the teams today, you can expect to see the 4 on the left with top seeds, North Carolina, Indiana, Kentucky, and Arizona. Over on the right, perhaps they'll be number 2s, Kansas, Michigan, and yes, folks, Duke is moving back up the ladder, and that's why Jim Valvano and Dick Vitale, this is such an important game for the Blue Devils here today, Jimmy.
That's right, Brent, and for them to win without Grant Grant Hill, certain things have to happen. Number one, they got to play great defense. They're giving up only 69 points a game, and their opponents are only shooting 43%. Number two, they got to establish the big guy down low. Cherokee Parks has had great 11 games, averaging about 14 points and 7 boards a game. He's just really been playing well. Number three, Hill and Hurley have to play up to the level that they always play at. And number four, they've got to get some support from the bench, which means Meek, Blakeney, Marty Clark have to play well. If they do that, even without Grant Hill, they'll win here at Canada.
And Dick, UCLA's side.
Well, you know, UCLA better go home if those 4 things happen. But for them to win, Tyus Edney's going to have to play great at the point guard slot and neutralize Bob Hurley. He had a great run in 4 games that they won in a row where he only turned the ball over 3 times. And Richard Petruska has to have a big game. Yes, the mystery of Richard Petruska. He had 6 points and only 1 rebound in their loss against Southern Cal. But when he scores 14 points a game, they are 14-1 when he gets 14 and more. Should be interesting. 2 great teams, UCLA and Duke, in terms of great tradition.
All right, and a big day for number 11 of Duke here. Bobby Hurley with his jersey retired in a ceremony. We'll come back and show you highlights of that, and we'll have the opening tip in a moment.
Dave Thomas is making a new chicken sandwich.
Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. By State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by Canon, the #1 copier company and the new power in high-volume copying.
Cameron is ready for Duke and UCLA, and Julie Moran, an emotional day already for the Hurley clan.
Well, Brett, with Dick and Jimmy B in the house, this may be the last time you hear from me, but the fans went absolutely crazy. His parents drove 10 hours to be here, and number 11 is going to the rafters. Bobby Hurley becomes the 7th player in Duke basketball history to have his jersey retired. Of the 6 jerseys that you see hanging in the arena, 5 went on to be National Player of the Year. So, Brett, maybe this is a good luck charm for Bobby Hurley and that coveted title.
You got the first dig in on my 2 partners up here.
Julie, I'm shocked at it. I mean, she took a shot. I think that was a Dick Vitale. I think it was a shot at you, Dick.
I'll tell you, Jimmy, I'm just ecstatic to be next to you. Next year, they'll have another jersey retired, Grant Hill. But where's Jeff Mullins?
Oh, he should be there. There's no question.
A look at the starting lineups, and Jimmy has told you that Grant Hill is not playing. So, young Collins back in that starting lineup with his father Doug in attendance here today. And for UCLA, Butler, O'Bannon, Petruska, Edney, and Tarver. The matchup to watch early will be Edney against Hurley.
What a big game for Edney, huh? I mean, if you're a sophomore, you're coming in, Hurley's jersey's retired, he's gone to 3 NCAA tournaments. You want to play well against Bobby Hurley.
Tyus Edney certainly the key for that basketball team. Puts a lot of pressure on the defense. He's got super quick. I'll start it off already and get people angry. I think Bob Hurley's the greatest point guard I have seen in my era following basketball. In my definition of a point guard.
Never heard of Magic Johnson. Frank, can we throw him out of the booth right now or what?
College, not NBA.
Oh, okay, all right.
Magic only played 2 years.
Oscar didn't play well either.
Well, Oscar was a great player. He was a big-time scorer.
So long, folks. I'll talk to you next week.
Pure point guard.
Underway in Durham, only no or not. So a violation, and it'll go to UCLA out of bounds here on the side.
It's a big game for Cherokee Parks, too. I mean, he'd like to play well against UCLA.
Well, he broke the hearts of the UCLA people when he decided to go to Duke.
Characteristic man-to-man defense by Duke. You'll see the same.
Parks steals. This is Thomas Hill on the move. And Hurley will slow it down and bring it up. Didn't have an easy one now. Pounds to Parks. Loves the turnaround.
The big guy started early. Great defense. Made it happen. And good to see. Look at the speed.
And at the other end, bingo. Butler for UCLA's first 2.
Well, you know, they're counting on Butler for defense. He's not much of an offensive threat.
Tipped out of bounds. Duke ball.
Bobby Hurley, great players make great decisions. And here he brings it out. Didn't have anything on the break. Looks immediately inside, as we mentioned. Parks got to play well. 2 right there. I think UCLA, the speed might surprise Duke a little bit, how quick they are.
Down again by Butler. Got a field goal and a rebound. Edney, the man in the middle, pushes it. They hit Butler now, and he traveled on the turnover. Goes to Duke. That assist, incidentally, moves Bobby Hurley to within 19 of the all-time college assist record.
Brent, the last 2 games, he's had 31 assists and only 2 turnovers. An amazing achievement when you figure playing without Grant Hill. Had that big blowout over Florida State in his last performance.
Man defense also utilized by the Bruins.
Hill hits the 3.
Jimmy, I think that he's one of the most underrated great players.
Not anymore, Dick. I mean, maybe at the beginning of the year, but now everybody knows Thomas Hill.
Well, you know, as a third option, he's such an effective player when you think about Hurley and Grant Hill as their number 1 and 2 options.
UCLA seeking a way to get O'Bannon into the flow early. Being covered very well by Lang in the early going.
O'Bannon's a great story coming back.
Petruska, the big check, has it rejected by Parks and takes it back. And Cherokee with a rebound. Here's Hurley.
The big problem with Petruska, Brent, he likes to play on a perimeter.
Edney's first personal.
I wonder if Petruska and George Zedek are 2 wild and crazy guys. I wonder, Brent.
I'll tell you, Zedek and Petruska, both from Czechoslovakia. PJ Carlissimo, Seton Hall tried to recruit them. Hey, the Pirates are hot right now. What, 6 in a row, Jimmy?
Hurley weaves in and goes over to UCLA.
Had a great talk with his dad today at lunch, and he said that nowhere in his mind did he ever anticipate his son having the kind of career that he's had. He said it exceeded his dreams as a parent.
This is Butler. He's been active with that quickness. Parks on the switch.
Excellent defense right now by Duke. They pressure the ball.
They really played an excellent man-to-man pressure on the ball and help on the help side.
Tarver, the left-hander. Hurley.
This is where he excels.
And he hits Lang, who's fouled. Count it and bring him to the line.
I'll tell you, Brad, he does a great job, as Jimmy talked about a little bit earlier, making the intelligent decision. Just a great look in transition. He just creates, makes things happen. Look at the no-look pass. He spots Lang on the left side, the little shovel pass, and then Lang finalizes, and there's the contact.
You know, Dick, not only, I think, is Bobby Hurley's father surprised, I think a whole lot of coaches, too. I remember seeing him play at the camps, and I thought he was a fine player. If you told me he was going to be a first-round draft choice in the NBA, I'd thought you're kind of crazy. But that's exactly what he is.
A lot of people don't think he can play at the next level.
Oh, he can. He can.
No doubt about it.
Duke is looking to play at this continued level against UCLA. O'Bannon couldn't roll it in. And UCLA will get a fresh opportunity, trailing in the early going 8-2.
Hey, they're playing with a lot of pride and prestige at stake. The Pac-10 wants some recognition. Here's where they can get some if UCLA can beat Duke at Duke.
Hurley against Edney, out on top.
Is that UCLA a high postal offense?
O'Bannon from the perimeter. Petruska with an offensive rebound and a left-handed hook shot for his first field goal.
That's a good sign for UCLA if he can score on the interior and rebound. Only had 1 rebound against Southern Cal.
Hurley with 1 assist and 1 turnover already in the early going.
And he's got good foot speed defensively.
Hill with a fine move on the left baseline, and it goes against Duke. Offensive foul, UCLA ball.
You wonder about the pressure on a Bobby Hurley. I've never gone through having my uni retired, having my parents here at national TV. But you wonder what that's like for a kid. Is he going to be able to perform loose and play at the same level? I think we'll have to watch that as the game progresses.
Petruska sets a screen for O'Bannon, and Park switches over on Ed. O'Bannon backs in on him and a left-handed hook. He drew the foul.
He's had one heck of a year when you consider the seriousness of that injury. The anterior cruciate ligament, out 15 months. He went through a little slump there when they went through a little losing streak, but he seems to have found his game again. And he holds the key to a lot of Jimmy Herrick's future with a guy by the name of Charlie O'Bannon, his brother.
Both played at Artesia High. Charles is senior there. He has included Kentucky in a list of campuses that he will still visit.
That's been the big rap on Jimmy Herrick about recruiting the local player, losing to Cherokee Parks. And this year they lost a lot of players early, and that's created a real problem for him.
You know, Dick, the guy's won 22 games a year. You know, could be for 5 years.
28-5 last year.
Most places they'd have a parade for him.
You got that right. There's no question he should have an
Hurley
extension.
switches to the left hand. It gets past Edney, and here comes Lang.
Lang has looked good offensively, but it's all due to the creation of Bob Hurley, the original 3D man. Drive, draw, and dish the rock.
Tarver on the turnaround and rejected. Was out of bounds by Cherokee Parks. Beautiful defense by Cherokee. So here's the Wizard. He'll soon own the assist record. 18 to go.
Thank you.
Title fights in boxing history. Now see the network premiere of the Bo Holyfield War. Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Bobby Hurley learned the game from his father, Bob Sr., the coach at St. Anthony High School in New Jersey. They wrapped up their regular season 22-1 yesterday. He's the gentleman there on the left in the second row, and he helped mold his son into a champion. And the one thing you notice about Bobby Hurley, not necessarily his ability, but this fierce determination. They used to play one-on-one out in the driveway. Bob Sr. finally quit when young Bobby started to beat him.
I'll tell you one thing, he used to invite me to speak at his camp down there. Give me $25 and a cheese sandwich, Jimmy.
Not bad.
That's all I was
How
worth.
was the cheese sandwich?
Cheese was good.
That's good.
Too much cholesterol. Don't eat it now.
Should have given you a ham sandwich, I think.
That's right, I am a ham and egg. Stop laughing at me here.
Parks loves that turnaround. Could not get this one to fall. Offensive putback by Lang. Petruska rose up to reject it, and the foul is called.
UCLA cannot allow Parks to establish that position in the low post.
They call that goaltending.
Yeah,
I can't believe that.
I'll tell you one thing. I don't know about you, Jimmy. Antonio Lang is starting to become a force in the last few games. He really was in a slump and not contributing. Oh, I think it's goaltending. Definitely interference on the cylinder. Brent says no. Look, put the striped shirt on Brent.
12-6. Now, like used to happen when I coached all the time, I'd say no. They always went the other way. They were going down the other way anyway.
Into Hurley's hands on the turnover. Brings it in on Edney for the layup.
Brent, you said it. Did you see him use his body? How he just brought his body into him to give himself enough room to get that shot up.
Butler missed, but it's had back in by Tarver.
UCLA's best offense is after a score.
After
they race it down the court.
Tarver, by the way, is an excellent scorer. He has excellent ability to hit the little middle range jump shot, and he really is excellent in transition. The anticipation by Bob Hurley. Now there he is in transition, a little one-on-one. He's going to use his physical ability, his strength, very strong, going to the basket, and he protects the ball exceptionally well.
Rattles out for Lang into the hands of Petruska. UCLA has rebounded well, and now Edney gets into a race and gets past Hurley for his layup.
Yeah, I believe this is the quickest team. Certainly no team in the Atlantic Coast Conference has the speed that UCLA has.
Tyus Edney, that was like in your face, Bob Hurley. I can go coast to coast as well.
So UCLA with rebounding brawn and court speed, trailing only by 4. Hurley's alley-oop to Hill. He couldn't put it away, and a little deep, and Petruska comes down with it.
He had a lob that a little bit easier.
Butler wants to get it back to Tarver on the turnover. Here's Hurley. UCLA a little sloppy with the ball. Beautiful pass to Hill.
You got that right, Brent. What an excellent bounce pass, driving it to Hill. And here comes UCLA right back down the court.
That's 5 assists already for Bobby Hurley. He started the game needing just 20 for the record. He could get it here this afternoon.
I'll tell you, one of the keys already I see, Jim, is defensive transition is going to become big and forcing a team to play a half-court game.
Edney, beautiful on the inside. inside to Tarver.
Excellent penetration, breaking the defense down. That's why Arizona has become such a better team. Damon Stoudemire breaking the defenses down.
Now it's Hurley's turn. Hill is fouled, cut off by Butler.
Edney showed a little bit quickness here. Beats Hurley. There's the little dump down. I got a question for my guy Jimmy B here, Brent. How many teams out of the Pac-10 get into the NCAA Big Dance? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, we were discussing that earlier today. I think right now 2 is the lock, but I can't see going past the 2. As Jimmy Herrick was telling you, I know at lunchtime, it's a definite 4.
He was saying 4. He was saying California and Arizona State.
But right now you got the 2 definite, UCLA and Arizona. After that, we'll see what happens next.
Well, you two fellows were helping the committee. The 2 coaches here were sending in about 4 subs. We'll get to them as the game progresses. Now Bobby Hurley takes it beyond the 3, comes back after it, out of bounds, Duke.
Getting back to that subject, I think they'll have 3. Arizona State's going to get in with Bill Frieda, who's my choice right now. Don't get mad, Lute Olson. Coach of the year in the Pac-10 for what he's done with that team.
This is Clark, who just checked in for Duke, and Blakeney joins him. He now handles the ball and gets it back into Hurley's hands.
One of the keys to the game, Brent, as you mentioned earlier, is how how Duke will play when they do make the substitution. One of the things since Grant Hill's been hurt, Mike Krzyzewski has played more players. Antonio Lang right now holding his side. They've gotten either he's winded or he took a shot there. But they've become a better team because of all the other players who've had to play.
That's why they're going to be better, I think, in the postseason.
Dempsey was wide open. If Tarver had gotten a clean pass to him, now it's Petruska bumping and grinding on the inside. Taken off by Lang. So both Lang and Parks contributing underneath. There's the alley-oop to Parks, and he has come on so well here over the last 10 days.
You said it, Jimmy. The key is Cherokee Parks. They are not recognizing him and finding him, and that's a no-no. You got to find him, and that's Petruska's responsibility.
Now it's Edney weaving in. Great pass to Tarver.
Like I said, he's really neutralizing Bob Hurley thus far.
The way to beat Duke in the 10 years that I played in the league was penetration. Because they play such good overplay and denial defense, you've got to beat the guy who is guarding you. The man with the ball has got to beat his man. That's what Edney has done a pretty good job.
Clark sends it into Lang.
Excellent 2-man game. And I know you didn't tell me to say this, but he had one heck of a record against Mike Krzyzewski.
I had good players.
He had a guy named Porciani that could break down the defense.
Petruska loses it on the turnover. Clark is off, passes behind Lang, who saves it, and here's Clark again. It's 22-14. Duke leading, 9 for Lang here in the early going.
That's a big plus that Lang has contributed so well early.
Beautiful pass, and it's Lang. Couldn't put it away.
What a great look by Bob Hurley.
Into Hurley's hands. He'll take the 3s, left all alone.
And they say he can't shoot the rock from deep.
Who says that?
Oh, the scouting reports early. They don't say it anymore.
The Bruins take a timeout. The Crazies are rocking. Duke nominee, gentlemen, for the National Player of the Year.
I'm not going to say what you want me to say, Chef Hurley. Why do they call him Chef Hurley?
He's the master
of 1,000 dishes. Boy,
you stole my line.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You stole my line.
I apologize.
And they're all taking credit for what a Duke student wrote.
There it is.
A guy with 1,400 SATs wrote that. I only had 600 on my SATs.
And that was guessing.
Hey, a year ago with us, he said he had a 500. It's going up.
I went up. It went inflation.
You know, you talk about Bob Hurley for the next level, Jim. I really believe he definitely can excel at the right team. He has such great ability of finding the right man, also the ability to put a lot of pressure on the basketball.
Dempsey whips it over here to Tarver.
Dempsey's a good shooter, excellent three-point shooter, 50%.
Boy, Duke's defense in a low post. Look how they front it. I mean, Clark is working so hard and Meek. They're really working hard.
Tarver gets the 3 and buries it.
You gotta make that when you're open. They've been working. Their half-court offense for Duke has not really been successful. Running the floor, they've done very well.
Tarver with 9 points is leading UCLA. Clark works the baseline. Zimmerman helping out. And it's Hill has it knocked away on the turnover into Edney's hands. Hurley's back, and Edney comes in with a spinner and a great pass to O'Bannon. Put him on the line.
Eddie O'Bannon, coming into high school, I thought was the #1 high school player in America. And that was a class that included Grant Hill, Jamal Mashburn, and then he had that serious injury. But he's starting to show that superb quickness this year. Here's the kick out. Now watch Edney. He has great recognition. Knows on the right as he spins in the lane is O'Bannon. And there's the conversion by the left-hander with the reverse layup.
One shot. And here's that critical point. You see Duke has Blakeney, Clark, and Meekin. That's the substitutions I talked about. And now it's a 5-point ball game. They've got to survive a run. On the other hand, UCLA is not really subbed too much.
No, he doesn't go to his bench a great deal. Very, very thin on the bench, UCLA.
5 points for O'Bannon. UCLA trailed it by 11. Cut into that. This is Blakeney.
UCLA's got to jump on this club right now.
Knocked away from Meeks with that speed. Dempsey's got it. Another turnover. And here come the Bruins again. He hits Tarver on a pull-up. Yes, the Bruins are in it with 11.
There's where the substitution has really now hurt Duke. And look, you see the three starters are up, but it's now a 3-point ball. They've had an 11-point lead.
Excellent transition play right there. Tarver did a real super job pulling up for the jumper rather than going out of control with a charge.
Switch on Hurley. He takes the bigger man on the inside, and the foul is called.
Whenever they need a big basket, you notice how immediately Bob Hurley takes charge. He's been a big player and a big play player constantly.
All right, next week, the big one most of you will see. Duke and North Carolina at the Dean Dome. Also covering Notre Dame, Louisville, Oklahoma, Nebraska. It's a doubleheader day. Kentucky, Florida, Arizona, Stanford, Kansas, Oklahoma State. So big Sunday coming up on ABC.
Will Carolina be #1?
I think North Carolina is getting my vote today as #1. Indiana #2. Stumbling over at Ohio State. I think Carolina's got all the ingredients, except I agree with Brent. I question their perimeter shooting, as we talked about off the air.
We need to just agree with Brent. How about...
oh, do you say the same?
I would say 99% of the people. The one thing they don't do, you're right, Dick, is they don't shoot the ball off the perimeter. I think it's Dean, who is a Hall of Fame coach and is great. This might be his best coaching job in his whole career because they can't shoot the ball, and they're #1 in the country.
Let's sing happy birthday to Dean. It's 62 today. Happy birthday, dear Dean.
Let's not.
Happy birthday, Coach Smith. UCLA has hit 7 of its last 8 shots now to climb back in this, trailing by 5, 27-22. Collins tried to get it away from Tarver, couldn't. This is O'Bannon, short into Hurley's hands. Collins on his left, and he hits the man in the middle. Hill rolled in and drew the foul.
Brent, we could have seen assist number what? I mean, if that had gone in, he's already would have been #7. What amazed me on that play is normally the point guard stays in the middle and lets the lane fill. Bobby Hurley knew enough. He looked back, he checked back, he goes to the right and goes behind his back.
He really has a great understanding of the game. Jimmy, when you coach, you guys chart the transition game. Most guys say they want to convert at least 60% in transition. Duke, I think, is even higher than that because of Hurley's presence.
We didn't have anybody to do charts at our place. We couldn't get the charts done. But if we did, we would have charted that.
I think with a guy like Porciani, you probably had a real excellent offensive efficiency rating.
Give him the ball, good things will happen.
O'Bannon's hands. 6 for Hill, 9 for Lang, 7 for Hurley, and 6 for Parks, leading the way. They're the only 4 who've scored here for Duke.
What a great matchup. Thomas Hill against O'Bannon. Hill is a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, the Henry Iber Award.
O'Bannon, what about the 3? Comes in, offensive foul, no field goal.
Parks did a great job. There was a switch, and Parks did a great job because obviously he doesn't have the foot speed that O'Bannon had to get his body in a position where he could get that call.
They make a switch defensively. Right, Cherokee Park's right there. Oh, yes, they get O'Bannon with that arm.
Move. In the NBA, it's good, and he's shooting one. In college, you're going the other way.
I look like you're running one-hander when you played at Rutgers. Congratulations, inductee in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much, Richard. defense, though, by Ed O'Bannon, who really did not move quickly at all to get in front.
They've had several breakdowns defensively in a half-court game, finding their responsibility.
Duke again.
When in doubt, give it to Hurley.
He's got Collins for the three.
He can shoot the rock, and Doug Collins sitting behind the bench says, "That's my boy."
Now 8 assists for Hurley. He's within 12 of the all-time record.
Clearly, Duke's starting team is superior on this afternoon to UCLA.
Well, because they're playing here too, Jim.
I said, on this day in this arena, I think UCLA's a little tough. Whenever you see a player, see Ed O'Bannon with his hands down around his hips, grabbing his shorts, that means, you know what that means. As a coach, you know what he's tired.
A little tired, fatigue.
Needs a blow.
Even slow walking over to the sideline.
In his 13th year at Duke, in each of the last 7 years, and there is Doug Collins watching from behind the Duke bench. In each of the last 7 years, this team has been a 1 or a number 2 seed in the tournament. They'd like to keep that streak intact. Well, yesterday, North Carolina wrapped up the top seed in the upcoming ACC tournament, but very uneasy night for Coach Smith because of the injury suffered by guard Derek Phelps against Florida State. And the word from the Duke folks before the game is that the x-rays over in Chapel Hill were negative. And so fortunately, Phelps did not suffer a broken arm, but it is a bad bruise. And those of you who saw that replay know what a hard tumble he took. And of course, Coach Smith immediately remembered 1984 when he lost guard Kenny Smith. That could have cost the Tar Heels a national championship. So they hope to be intact physically when they get ready for the tournament, Dick and Jimmy.
Yeah, that really was very similar in terms of thinking about that situation in '84, losing Kenny Smith. Good inbounds, baseline play.
You know what's nice about that? Whenever there's a timeout, you always have a set play. Jimmy Harrick has to feel good that his team executed out of bounds to get that bucket.
Now 7 for O'Bannon. It's 33-24. Duke with the lead, and Lang has been the big man. Parks back in with him. Stolen into Tarver's hands. Collins is back, and Tarver takes it in for the layup, and now he's scored 13.
They are a better basketball team on the road than they are at home. UCLA, unbelievable, gets blown out by California, Southern Cal at home, yet reverses and beats those clubs on their facility.
They also appear to be a much better team on a transition than in a half-court set. Hill comes back with the field goal, and that's 8.
That's good recognition, Brett. We're going to make you the analyst. That's because of their athletic ability. They're better in transition than they are executing that high-post UCLA offense.
Speaking of that, Petruska steps out to the line, puts it on the floor against Parks, and goes to the basket and draws the foul. It's number 2 on Cherokee.
Jim, you really like Cherokee Parks. You're really a big fan.
Yeah, I just think he's improved dramatically from the beginning of the season till now.
There's the Pro Bowlers Tour. A reminder coming up Saturday on ABC, 3 Eastern Time, the Flagship City Open. And then, if you haven't seen that fight or you'd like to see that tape again, it's a dandy. Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield. Riddick, of course, with the victory over Holyfield out at the Mirage in Las Vegas. Also, the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race. That's always big for Jimmy V. He likes those puppies.
Well, I'll tell you. Every time I see snow, I think of the Iditarod.
It's 35-28.
They really like to spread the court and use the opposite side of the floor with a lot of screening away from the ball.
Parks in below, and he was pushed.
That whole set, Dick, Duke, they really do a good job of getting the ball from one side of the floor to the other and then going inside, taking advantage of the defensive position where a man goes from fronting and then he has to try to get in front to get on the other side. They do a really nice job. They've always done it. Mike Krzyzewski has always gotten the ball inside well, even when he didn't have the true centers. I remember trying to defend Allery down low and players like that. He still did a good job getting it down low.
He's an excellent teacher who really excels at practice, a la Rick Pitino, who, by the way, you know, Kentucky wins yesterday. They lose earlier in the week. But you can make a case. I was just thinking here, National Coach of the Year. You can make a case for Ricky Pitino loses 4 starters and has him in a hunt right now.
Here's my man Parks, who I think has just gotten so much better as this year has progressed.
That gives him 8 points for the afternoon. Petrushka's first foul, 17 fouls, so the Bruins over the limit. 5 against Duke right now. The Devils leading 37-28.
And you know, Jim, the beat goes on and on. Next year they got a 6'11" kid coming in, Greg Newton, who people say out of high school was ahead of Christian Laettner, and Joey Beard at 6'9".
And Jeff Capel, who's going to give them a big backcourt. He's 6'4". And so they're going to have a different ball club. They don't have the penetrating guard. They're going to have to go inside more and rely on some inside-outside play.
And UCLA has to get some great players in the post-signing, or it could be a tough, tough year next year.
Now Tarver puts it down, and with George Zidek checking in for the Bruins. And here's Burns. Now O'Bannon comes up.
Brent, that's like a clinic defensively. They not only put great pressure on the ball where you can't go by him, when you pick up your dribble, as Tarver did, they close down everybody. And O'Bannon also picked up his dribble. Just terrific. It's a clinic man-to-man half-court defense by Duke.
Well, he forced them into 8 turnovers, Jay.
Oh, double screen up on top.
And low, and a foul against Hill. He pushed off to get 3, and that's his first.
They try to run a double screen for Chris Collins, an outstanding long-range shooter. As you look at Mike Krzyzewski, worked under the general Robert Montgomery Knight as a player and then as an assistant
I'd
coach.
like to make a little aside here. Everyone talks about Mike as a coach. I've gotten to know him probably since I've been ill more as a friend than I ever have before, and he's spent an awful lot of time with me and my family. And a lot of people don't know that. I'd like them to know that.
Well, let me just say this, Jimmy. We watched the dump down here.
And they call it a tied-up ball situation. So it's Duke's ball.
Since your illness, let me say this. The admiration and respect that we have for you and the unbelievable inspiration you provide for people is just incredible. Here's Bobby Hurley in transition. There's the dump down. Timing a little bit off there. Good job, though, on the glass.
Deep on the turnover. Meek was not there. They get it into Edney's hands.
This guy's so quick.
Go to the glass.
He's playing a heck of a game, Brent. He's playing one heck of a game. Coast to coast. Nobody stops the ball. The first rule defensively.
And as you mentioned, their transition offense is excellent. It's as good as anybody I've seen in the country. They get the ball from this end to that end, just like that.
Thomas Hill 3, rattles out. Burns goes big time after the rebound, and Edney puts it down, and now it's O'Bannon on the move, and here's Tarver's 3.
Meek got away.
Into Edney's hands, and he is fouled by Clark. That's his Clark's second.
I would think that this game is bigger to UCLA than to Duke.
Oh, definitely, Dick. For a lot of reasons.
Well, not only about a postseason, we're talking about Jimmy Herrick.
Coach Herrick, that's right.
The status, what his situation is. He told me today things are getting better. They're communicating, he and the athletic director.
Let me give you a stat, which I think backs up what you say. About Duke. Duke's been in the Final Four, Brent, 5 years in a row. During that time, I'll let people think about it for a second, but how many times do you think they've won the regular season of the ACC during those 5 years? Oh, there's one. Now I'll give you the answer. If you said twice, you'd be correct. I think that surprised people. And here's a squad that's been to the Final Four 5 times in a row. They've only won their conference during that time twice. It shows you the regular season is just ain't what it used to be. It's just not that important to the better teams in the country.
But they were good enough to be a first or a second seed. Those top 8 seeds are important. We'll be right back.
By Wendy's old-fashioned hamburgers, the best hamburgers, and a whole lot more. And by Pennzoil, performance, protection, and quality ever since America learned to drive.
Mr. Rogers might say UCLA is hanging in the neighborhood. Down we go to Julie Moran. Julie?
Thank you, Brent. I'm with some very proud parents, Bob and Chris Hurley. And Bob, we saw number 11 retire. Did Bobby choose that number because that was your number in college?
Yeah, he high school and college, that was my number, and he must have looked back a long time in history to find that number.
As his former coach, what's the most impressive thing about him as a player?
Well, he's just team-oriented. You know, he makes all the other players around him, I think, better players.
Chris? A lot of people said he couldn't make the transition from high school to college. Now those are saying he can't make it from college to the pros. What's your response to those critics?
They're wrong. He's definitely aggressive, and he's going to make it.
Well, it's been a great day for the Hurley family. Back to you, Brent.
Yeah, it certainly has been. Thank you, Julie. Thomas Hill on the go, has got the field goal, and now he has scored 10.
And Brent, moms would never lie. Moms never. Always tell the truth.
39-32.
Every right to be proud of what he's achieved.
Burns puts it down, pull up. Good defense by Meek and Tarver, who's had a hot hand shooting for UCLA. 15 for Tarver.
Well, he's their big-time scorer. He's the kind of guy that can knock down that middle-range shot.
Duke has not been able to put UCLA away with any early burst here. Hurley with 9 assists already, needs 20 to set the all-time record, looking for number 10.
We're seeing outstanding point guard play both by Hurley and Edney here today.
Right now, O'Bannon doing a much better job defensively. Much better down the low post.
I think they're starting to believe that they can win. I'm not sure they believed that when they walked out here to start the afternoon.
Hill almost lost it, got it back. Meek goes after the rebound, and O'Bannon comes away with it.
That's a big-time rebound right there. Attack the glass.
Really miss Park in the lineup right now for both those follow-up shots and getting it to him down in the low post.
Whenever Duke goes to the bench, they seem to struggle.
Here comes Tarver on the go, is out of control.
Nice position.
Offensive foul. That is number 2 on Tarver, and a reminder to stay with us at halftime and meet this week's Naismith Award nominee, Terry DeHare of Seton Hall. Dick Vitale.
He's been playing brilliantly. Seton Hall on a real run. I think that Seton Hall can get in position to get a number 2 seed, Brent. I really do. I think there's 7 spots basically locked up. Number 8 is still open. Could be Seton Hall, Vanderbilt, as you said.
Your alma mater, right? Seton Hall.
They don't claim that too much, Jimmy.
Dick, I also throw out Utah and Rick Majerus. Any chance for a 2?
Well, you know, they won big last night. Rick's done a fantastic job. They just haven't had the opportunity to play a lot of great teams to get the kind of power rating, I think, to get up there.
I think Cincinnati let it get away from them. I thought they had a great shot at it, too. And now Hurley misses on the 3, and it's Burns. I'll tell you, UCLA climbs that glass. Now it's Edney, fine-looking point guard, gets on the inside. Traveled.
Well, but you said it, but he really has impressed me today. I mean, I've seen him before on the tube. I've not done a game in person, but he's a terrific player. He's only a sophomore.
Yeah. Dick, you told me that earlier in the week. You said, Brent, we're going to have a big matchup. Edney's going to play him well.
Well, I've had him several times, and I've always been impressed with his quickness and penetration ability.
No
Dick
basket.
Paparo's calling that one off. He came in from half court and said, no, don't say that's good.
Hey, Jimmy, Dickie likes the camera, baby. He likes it almost as much as I do.
Hey, Dick, I got news. He didn't get the camera once.
He didn't get on.
The director stayed with Krzyzewski and the players. Isn't that amazing?
Dick will be very upset with that when he plays that tape back.
He'll be furious. He's the outside official.
I know. Now, right here underneath, Duke Edsel is ready to call this. He's got the foul right now. He's ready to say, it's good and 1. And there he is. Now he got the Froggy got some time.
He gets more airtime than Arsenio Hall.
This is Butler, UCLA, looking for a little more offense from him. Here come tournament time. Hurley reaching in for the steal, committed to personal, his first.
You know, it's amazing. You mentioned tournament time. Last year, they're 28-5. They go to the final 8, and yet the critics have come out like unbelievable, Jim. So unfair. And plus, he graduated all his players, Jimmy Herrick. And number 2, 6 of these 12 kids are on a Dean's list, have a better than 3.0 average. Let's vote, you and I. Extend the contract.
He gets the 5-year. He gets a new
5-year
deal for me.
Yeah, we give him a 5-year deal.
If Dick and Jim will permit it, we'll have the Foot Locker Slam Fest at halftime.
Wait a second. Foot Locker Slam Fest is Dick. At halftime. Well, I'm Dick at halftime.
Siddick coming back up, and he was fouled by Meek.
Jim, your honest opinion, you've seen Duke a lot. Can they win the national title?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you put Grant Hill back in his line. As I said, they have improved since he's been gone. Cherokee Parks has gotten much better. Marty Clark has gotten better. He's played Meek. Blakeney has contributed. Now they're playing and winning. They're playing well. They blew Florida State away. They're playing well without him. When he comes back, it reminds me a little bit of a team I had back in '83 who played without our leading scorer. When he came back, the team was better around him. I definitely think they're Final Four and certainly can win number 3 in a row.
That was the first point, excuse me, Dick, that was the first point scored by a sub in this game for either team.
Wow. They're right here, 3 down. And they're there because of Edney and their transition.
Lang has cooled down since the early minutes. Knocked away. Oh, Edney's quickness. He was able to get over in front of Hurley, got the ball out of bounds.
And he anticipates so well. Just a great kid. Had a conversation with him in the lobby today, and he was really all primed to get a chance to play against Bob Hurley.
Dick Vitale in baseball would be all lobby. He'd make it every year.
Hey, I was all lobby yesterday. I was with Bo Jackson and the gang down in Chicago.
There you go. Doesn't name drop it. Does he?
Arsenio Hall, Bo Jackson. Hey, in this game today or what? Who's playing in this game?
I'll tell you one thing. Bo Jackson is ready. I watched him in a batting cage.
Okay.
Oh, let's get back to basketball.
How about Bo Derek? Were you with her yesterday, too?
Mentioned every Bo but Polensky, folks.
Left-handed pitcher, California Angels.
Only the half, Brent. It's only the half.
Sidney up on top. The last 30 seconds will give your eardrums a rest with the Foot Locker Slam Fest. And I must say that UCLA has been impressive here in the first half. They have stayed with it. Crowd trying to throw Edney off. Into O'Bannon's hands. Couldn't put it away. Goes after it, and he is fouled.
That'll break the heart of a little point guard. What an excellent job by Edney to create that opportunity, and they come up empty.
Well, you do know with 16 seconds, the ball's going to be in Hurley's hands for penetration.
Well, they got a foul in that situation.
Yeah, me.
They'll go to the line. You know, getting back to Duke, here's my reasoning why I think they'll go to the Final Four, Brent. I think they only have to win 2 games. They're going to win the first 2 games as the history shows them as we look at his leg.
Now, that's O'Bannon's left leg, Dick. The point I wanted to make is that when he blew that knee out, and he did it, they replaced it with an Achilles tendon from a cadaver. And I'll never forget Randall Cunningham, who had that similar operation, and we talked to him about, do you ever think about where you got the Achilles tendon to put in your knee? And he said, I hope it was Jesse Owens. I'll never forget that line.
That's a great, great line. But, you know, getting back to Duke again, Brent and Jimmy, I think, you know, the margin of victory in their first 2 rounds over the last 5 years has been better than 17 points. I think on a neutral floor, they'll beat those 2 teams because I agree with Brent. Getting seated high, they're going to play someone down low. So that means in a 2-game run on a neutral floor, I'll go with the 3 H's to get to the Final Four.
This is a 2-point game now as O'Bannon eases the Bruins, and it's last shot time, gentlemen, for the Blue
court.
Devils.
Spread the court. Give it to Hurley. You might want to give him a pick. You can. Otherwise, just let him try and go by. And here's the high post pick. There's your thing to pick Lang. Either or, but he's going to try and penetrate.
And then Lang will release and go to the basket.
There he goes.
Hurley takes it himself.
There it is.
I mean, everybody knows he's going to do that, and nobody rotates over to give any help. That's going to really be frustrating to a coach.
For 4 years, everybody's been saying stop this penetration, and nobody's done it yet.
1 second left. Dempsey fires for Butler out of bounds. That's the half. 9 assists and 9 points for Mr. Hurley. Jersey number 11 retired earlier at a 4-point lead at the half. Now these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
You may not have given side impact collisions much consideration, but Buick has.
Well, Brent, it's been Bobby Hurley Day here at Duke, but there's another number 11 on the court, Tyus Edney. You have to be pleased with his play and how your transition game is working, Coach.
Julie, he's a very nice guard for us. He's been kind of our heart and soul all year long, too. We got a call on Ed on his made a 3-point basket. Then he missed a layup, or we'd have been right there. So our effort was good. It's been really a great college basketball game with the tension and the pressure. And this is a kind of a game that's going to be in the NCAA tournament. And it's a great environment, but it's nice to come in here and play. And Edney is a good little player.
Thanks, Coach, and best of luck in the second half. Back to you, Brent.
All right, Julie. That man has 4 straight. 20 20-win seasons, and we look at the numbers here, Jimmy, from the first half.
One of the things that surprised me is the free throw situation. Duke usually makes more free throws than an opponent takes. That means they usually get it inside really well, penetrate well. That's not the case here, as you see with the 10 or 12 for UCLA and only a 6 or 7 for Duke.
I think one of the reasons for that, Jim, is the fact that we don't see Grant Hill on the floor as a slashing, driving player.
They're your leading scorers. Tarver leads the Bruins with 15, Lang with 11, Hurley 9 points, 9 assists, and Grant Hill still watching.
And one of the big bench we talked about at the top, Brent, is Duke's bench has given him zippo points. None.
You know, Grant Hill has a sprained toe. His dad had a similar injury and was out of a lot of games in the NFL. Calvin Hill, who played with the Dallas Cowboys.
As we get a shot of the foot, great job.
I like his shoes. I like his shoes.
This is Edney, the point guard for UCLA, if you just joined us. Butler, who was very quiet in the first half, has it knocked away by Hill, and this is Collins putting it on the floor. He tried one pass too many, and Edney comes back. It's 3-on-2 for the Bruins. Beautiful pass to O'Bannon, the finisher.
Oh, what a beautiful. Edney, incidentally, with his speed, though, he's made that play by pounding Collins towards a turnover. What a pass that was.
Great look, and Eddie O'Bannon does an excellent job running the court.
Lang started out very strong. He'll come to the free throw line.
UCLA's been running transition well all day long. And here's, that's it. 2 11s going after each other. But look at Tarver. No look. Spins the other way. Oh, I wish I could have done this just once. It's great.
I'll tell you, Sean Tarver probably watched the Magic Man all those years down there in L.A. That's a Magic Man style look. Now, you were a pretty good guard. You and Bobby Lloyd. Lloyd used to throw the ball in bounds. You'd give it back to him and then get out of his way.
No, you're wrong, Dick. I took it in bounds.
Oh, you did it in bounds?
And then I got out of his way.
12 for Lang. That was the second personal, incidentally, on Petruska.
You know, Lang was valedictorian of his class coming out of high school. Unbelievable student. Mobile, Alabama.
Into Tarver's hands, and the Bruins come down trailing 42-39.
Brent, they're going to really have to execute their halfway.
Wide open is Tarver, 17.
Dick, you didn't get it out of your mouth. And option number 1 in the UCLA high-low post offense, the high post cover, was free. 1 point there.
Perfect execution out of that high post offense. Petruska really bustling on Parks.
Early gets it over to Hill. He drew the defender away from Hill with his penetration, hit the open man.
That's his 10th assist, Brent. Only 1 turnover. An amazing number. 31 assists and only 2 turnovers in his last 2 games.
10 to break the record. O'Bannon swings into action. Into Cherokee Parks' hands, hits Hurley, and Hurley is cut off, and he traveled. Edney caused the turnover.
Dick Paparo right on top of that call.
Hey, Jim, why don't more clubs try to find Bob Hurley and deny him the ball on the pitch out?
That's a very good point, Dick. I think what happens is if you strive so hard to do that, this smart enough ball club to make that 1 extra pass, he's going to get it anyway.
O'Bannon up high and got it.
Up high?
That looked like,
holy cow.
That looked like Brent's jump shot, kissing it on the glass, baby, right on the window.
44-43. UCLA pulls to within 1. It's Lang. Off Parks, turnover. Bruins can take the lead. Tarver runs the floor, gets it to Petruska, put back in by Butler. Bruins lead it. It's the first time in this game that UCLA has led.
They're doing it with excellent half-court defense and tremendous transition basketball.
And I can hear all the Pac-10 coaches jumping out of their seats saying, hey, we're the Pac-10. I can see Frieda, Lute Olson.
How many we get in the NCAA tournament? 2? It's going to be 6. Are you kidding me?
Henderson hangs, scored, and bring him up to the line.
He's one of my favorite players, multi-dimensional. He's a tremendous defensive player as well as is a very explosive driving player. Thomas Hill.
As you mentioned, Dick, that's where they miss Grant Hill. Another player who can rebound, pass it, take it the length of the court, slash.
Sometimes people don't realize when you lose a player of the quality of a Grant Hill or an Alan Henderson with Indiana, I mean, you just can't replace those kind of people.
Into Lang's hands.
Oh, nice
Try to
fake.
pound it in. Parks will finish.
Look at Mitchell. Oh, Mitchell Butler really ran the court well that time.
Cherokee Park's real intense competitor.
Into Collins' hands. Collins splits the defense. It's a 5-point Duke lead.
Nice drive by Collins. He was Mr. Basketball in the state of Illinois.
There's a crowd popper.
The Crazies are alive. Tarver hopes to quiet them. Overshot into Lang's hands. Couldn't save it. UCLA ball.
Little dangerous time right now. They need a basket here to quiet the crowd. Uncle Mo is on the side of Duke.
But remember also, every time Duke has gone to the bench this afternoon, whatever lead they did have evaporated. And it's still only a 5-point game.
That's been one of their problems all year, Jim. A lack of a deep bench. Petruska's got to get the ball and score.
Knocked away from it. And fouled.
Uh-oh, Hurley. That thing better come down fast. You could have got a technical.
And that's the third personal on Thomas Hill, who is the leading scorer for Duke with 14.
Petruska's begging for the ball, Brent. He's saying, please get me the rock inside. I could score on Parks. Spins to the lane. There's the reach in.
Parks got himself caught behind the man. You can't do that in the low post area.
They've had some excellent wins out of the conference. They beat Florida State in the NIT. They beat Georgia on the road. They blew away California on the road after losing to them at home.
6 for Petruska. That ends a 6-0 Duke run. 3-point lead for the Blue Devils. Whips it inside, and that's number 11. Assist number 11, and it's 16 points for Hill.
I didn't think it'd be possible to see, when you mentioned earlier that we might see Bob Hurley break the record today. 20 assists did not seem possible, but with 15 minutes, almost 16 left, it could happen.
Away from the ball.
Ooh, 3 sets, just do that once a month. So that's it. That's about it for this month.
UCLA turns it over, trailing by 5. UCLA.
Great execution right here by Thomas Hill. Watch him release. Freeze it. See right now, look at Hill along the baseline. He's got inside position. That's a no-no by Tarver. You must see ball you man at all times. And there's the entry for the easy layup. Great move without the basketball.
$16 points. Hill leading the Blue Devils. 11 assists. UCLA could use another score down the stretch.
Go right inside. After a timeout, right inside.
Short. Bannon picks it up, and this is Edney.
This is where Edney's been excelling.
Petruska comes out high. He does have good outside range. He hasn't shown that look in this game. He'll take it down low on Parks for the layup, and now that's 8 for Petruska.
Dick, there we have now the next option. Here's another option, UCLA high-low post offense. UCLA doing a much better job in running the half-court offense. That was where you hit the duck-in man, the guy who goes down low on the low blocks after the initial cut.
They drop to Parks, who waits for Collins on the cut. Now it's Hurley faking the 3 and coming inside. loses it, and O'Bannon fouls Parks.
Hurley does a sensational job recognizing seams in the defense. In that prior possession, a great job of sealing his side by Petruska.
And there is the penetration, which everyone says you got to stop that. But you can't. He got hit. He would have had an assist there. even after he got pounded, he still would have got number 12.
You know, Indiana and both Duke do a great job of using that dribble penetration and attacking defenses, and that's why they usually go to the free throw line as often as they do.
11 points for Cherokee.
He had a retina problem earlier in the season, and that's why he wears the goggles.
Here we evened up our ones. $54-49.
And Marty Clark goes to the scorer's table to check in with the first sub for Duke. Notice Mike Krzyzewski is not subbing 3, just subbing 1.
Good pass to Petruska, and a great block by Cherokee Parks into Hurley's hands. Hurley cuts and weaves inside, and Edney fouls him.
He does a super job with that change of direction.
Crossover dribble. Has a great crossover dribble, but it couldn't have happened if it wasn't for the defensive end.
Watch the eraser right here. Parks with the eraser.
Ooh, nice shot.
Rejection sitting. Now look at the penetration.
He does a front change of direction, Dick, and he does it so well. Goes from right to left.
Just loves to play. I think what separates him from most guards is the fact that he knows how to win and his will to win.
If he played baseball, he'd be Ernie Banks, right? He'd say, let's play 2.
Let's play 3.
Ernie didn't say that, though.
Ernie was quite a shortstop. Hall of Famer. Oh, nice look.
Parks gives it back to Clark, who just checked in. Hill was falling out of bounds.
I don't
save it.
When I coach, I never liked a player who just checked in to shoot the ball. Go up and down the floor 2, 3 times. Get in the flow of the action. Otherwise, you know what happens? You throw one of those.
Unless you can get a layup in transition.
Oh, fine. Certainly, get a layup. But I'm talking about a jumper, 3-pointer.
Edney, cool hand Luke, isn't it? Zimmerman on the floor for the Bruins. Big number 14. He'll try to help out in the low blocks.
He's a shot blocker, Brent. An excellent defensive player. Very limited offensively, Zimmerman.
Burns, number 4, also is checked in. They hit Edney on the move. Goes to the left hand, and he was defended by Lang, who goes to save it out of bounds.
That was an impossible shot right there in their half-court game.
Matthias Edney today, Dick, has more than held his own. He's shown that he can play with the best point guards in the country. Oh, and then he blows the layup. Oh, Tyus, how did you do that to us?
Try to make him a big star.
Hurley coming in on Zimmerman, the bigger man. Got the foul.
That's what you want to do with a shot blocker. Take the ball right at him, and that's what Hurley did.
You know, when you look at Bobby Hurley, and I'm sure a lot of folks did when he was a freshman, they say, oh, just another suburban kid from New Jersey. But the thing that his father did that toughened him up was he and his buddies off at the playground. And as both of you know, that's where you learn how to play tough, because the only way you get to play is you win, to stay out there on those asphalt courts. And if you want to grow up as a tough basketball player, you just go to one of those arenas. They aren't even arenas, folks. They're just out there on a little asphalt and start pounding.
And Al McGuire used to say that the better player you are, the later you could go to church. Because you could go to the 11 o'clock mass and still get there and they'd pick you. The bad guys, like Vital, would have to go to 6 o'clock mass.
5:30.
5:30 to get there to be picked.
This is Burns with the jump shot. And Hill battling.
Get on the floor.
UCLA gets after it. It was Burns picking it up and gets it to Tarver. Parks knocks it out of bounds. UCLA ball. You yell out one more time and I'll think that you've been around that World Football League too often.
I'm sorry, Brent. I always do another one of my pet peeves. When the ball's on the floor, players should be on the floor. When you reach down with your hands, somebody always, takes it from you. The ball's down, you're down.
Football coach been saying that, Jimmy, for a long time.
I know, I can't. That's my World League. That's Dick Vermeil. He did it to me.
Hey, look at Duke's rotated to his zone. First time tonight.
Clark stepped in beautifully to defend that play. First cut off the passing lane. Gets it over to Hurley.
They went to a 3-2 zone.
And here's Cherokee. Rattled out.
Let's see if they stay with it, Dick. Possibly basically to protect Thomas Hill.
No, they're back to man-to-man.
The three off the iron into Clark's hands, and here's Hurley now. Lob to Hill. A little deep, wanted back into his hands, and Edney got a finger on it.
I don't think he made the right decision there. He had the trailer, had Mr. Lang.
Well, there is the Pizza Hut College basketball doubleheader. Game one, of course. The big one is over at the Dean Dome. Duke and North Carolina. Some of you will see those other two games. Oklahoma, Nebraska, big one in the Big Eight. Then the second game, Kentucky, Florida, Arizona, Stanford, Kansas, Oklahoma State. So next Sunday, doubleheader coming your way on ABC.
Hey, what a job. Eddie Sutton's doing. Oklahoma State loses 4 starters. Brian Reeves, to me, is the most improved player in America, the 7-footer at Oklahoma State. They're 1 game behind Kansas, Jimmy.
Play great defense. Eddie Sutton's teams always play excellent defense. Mr. Ivan.
Notice how they're playing very soft on Hurley here.
Well, they're going to let Duke is willing to let the clock run some, and UCLA says, hey,
keep us in the game.
It's only 7 points. Long time. The Duke double stack. Duke on a guy to the corner.
And then they'll try to lock Parks on a box.
Hill. Lang got a hand, and Clark runs it down.
Lang did a great job keeping that ball alive, Brent.
See, now I wouldn't mind Clark shooting if he's free. He's been up and down. He's played defense. He got a rebound. He got a loose ball. Now he shoots it, and now it's okay.
Now they run that foul line extended offense, trying to take away any kind of help.
Boy, it's an awful long time. Mike, I think, is doing this, Mike Krzyzewski, to rest more than anything, because his bench has not provided any sparks. So on offense, he's just resting a little bit.
And he's looking for the high percentage shot.
Bingo. Hill gave it to him.
And there it is, the pearl move.
Great strategy.
18 points for Thomas Hill.
You rest a little and you score.
I tell you, it's always great strategy when you have great players to execute the strategy.
It works.
Tarver on the move. Been quiet here in the second half.
Oh, look at that play by Hurley.
Edney rotates back on him. And Bobby
what a great job bringing the ball back out.
Gets it right back inside. They should retire that kid's jersey.
I'll tell you, Jim, the way he practices, every young man should see him at practice. To me, he's like trying to make the team. Coach's dream.
Cut off and fouled by Zimmerman. That's the third on Zimmerman.
After running the offense down, watch they do a nice, there's the screen, and there's the curl move you mentioned, Dick.
Excellent down screen. They just seem to know exactly what to do all the time.
Timeout. You're watching Pizza Hut College Basketball on ABC. Of the pits in college basketball, Duke with a 79-game winning streak here in Cameron versus non-conference teams. You have to go all the way back to January 12th, 1983, when Louisville came in here, to find a non-conference team with a win in Cameron. They have won 41 of their last 43 games here. 2 losses this season in the ACC to Virginia and Wake Forest. So tough when you come to Cameron. Clark's shot rattles out. Here's Edney for the Bruins. Loses it, and there was a whistle and a foul.
Fortunately, they get the foul right there. They had a layup down here in transition. You know, Brent just mentions that winning streak and how tough they are here, Jim. What was it like for you to bring your team down the road to play here?
We love to play here, and that's because the environment is conducive to basketball. It is a pit, you're right, Brent, but if kids like challenges and you've got good players, and I didn't have bad players, it's a tough place to play. Any place is tough. When you have inexperienced kids who come in here, they get an awe, but you take the Chris Corchianis, the Spud Webbs, the kids I had, they love playing here.
O'Bannon likes it right now. There's 14 points for Ed O'Bannon. Bruins back to within 7. They just won't go away.
That's the first good look he had at the basket, that baseline jumper. I'd go at Dempsey right now and get Hill the ball.
Parks couldn't get the handle, or he had an easy one. Instead, there's a foul underneath, and Clark is shaken up.
See, I think where Duke does an excellent job is they recognize the strengths of their players, and they recognize matchups, and they take advantage of matchups that really aren't advantageous to the defense.
7th foul. Third foul on Petruska, 7th team, and so Duke will come to the free throw line with Cherokee Parks here.
When you think about his record, 5 consecutive Final Fours, 2 national championships back-to-back, 6 out of the last 7 years in the 1990s. That's just unbelievable, Jim.
Oh, it's an incredible record. Only John Wooden's performance at UCLA surpasses that kind of postseason play.
John Wooden, the greatest record of all time, but that, Brett, might be one of the problems Jimmy Herrick faces, is that he's a prisoner of all those championship banners that fly high.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy replacing the legend at UCLA, and yet the Bruins won the Pac-10 a year ago, lost it back to Arizona this season. There's no tournament in that conference. Both teams, of course, will go to the NCAAs this year. This is Edney with a quickness back there, 59-51. Petruska, and he traveled.
I think Petruska tries to play on the outside too much. I think he's got to get his big body down in the boxes inside and score around that lane. He's coming out for Zimmerman.
Number 14, Rodney Zimmerman, replaces number 3, Richard Petruska for UCLA.
Inside of 9.5 minutes to go. Hurley with 12 assists, needs 20 to break the all-time record. If he doesn't get it today, he'll get it in his next game.
Wow!
How's that for a 3? 14 for Bobby.
I'll tell you, what's impressed me the most about Bobby Hurley is development of his perimeter shot. Yeah. Because as a freshman, he really struggled shooting the ball.
You know, Dick, I coached against Hurley when he was, his freshman year, and you're 100% right. We see him go baseline, use the screen, but look how he gets it up so quickly. We did not worry much about Hurley shooting the ball 4 years ago, but you certainly better be concerned about it now.
Gives it back on the move. Tapped in by Zimmerman.
Butler really has been a no-show offensively, and he's an excellent athlete with tremendous transition ability. Tough defensive player, though. Not going to the benches often, Brent and Jim.
One guy, and they're definitely looking inside. They were looking inside unless you get Hill coming off that same
Tarver's hands. Tarver been much quieter here in the second half. Beautiful pass from Edney. O'Bannon's on the move. Put it down like an NBA continuation, but it'll count.
He was in the motion of shooting the ball. That's why they allowed it. In the NBA, they allow continuation, as you just said, Brent, not in college. But if you're in the motion of shooting it, watch right here. He's in the motion of shooting the ball, and that's why they allowed it to count.
That's number 3 on Hurley.
Big bucket, big three-point play. As you say, Brent, they won't go away, the Bruins. Every time the shot will go down by double digits.
17, O'Bannon's come alive in the second half here for the Bruins, 62-56.
And they are searching so much for an identity that they can play with the big people because the Pac-10 has been so maligned.
Hurley pull-up jump shot on Edney. Loose, Butler runs it down, and now here's Edney. Could not split the defense. Now he spins inside of Hurley, but he was out of control and turned it over.
Hurley made that error happen with his defense.
But that was close. If that was a foul, and you're looking at number 4 with 8 minutes to play, you might see that 79-game winning streak come to an end. Remember, UCLA stopped Arizona's great winning streak, so
what a job Lute Olson's done to at Arizona. That program's one of the class programs in America, and this year they've gotten better and better. Chris Mills has got to be the player of the year in the Pac-10.
He would be a candidate for National Player of the Year, along with Hurley here dribbling. Jamal Mashburn at Kentucky certainly will be a factor in that voting.
Calbert Cheney.
You bet. And Parks on the inside. He has been the most improved player for Duke this year. That's 15 points for Cherokee.
Not bad as a 4th option. A lot of teams would love to have Cherokee Parks as a 4th option.
Bruins will look to respond. Butler puts it in.
Wow.
He caught that, and I mean, he shot it before he came down because the help was coming.
Jim, that's what we talk about, athletic ability, the ability to have the talent to rise off the floor quickly, good hands.
The Bruins are doing well with Zimmerman down on the low blocks right now. Petruska struggling. Hurley nails the three.
Let off him. Anytime you want a big basket, that's been a story of his career. Well, Jerry
Brent, do you think he can hit in the NBA? Can he make the outside
You still have to
shot?
back it up, and Michael will be running at you. Just remember.
Oh, the glove. When the glove is on you, nobody scores.
The glove. Did you see Trent Tucker shoot it out last night, Jimmy?
Yes, I did.
Wow, speaking of the Bulls, 9 and 9, 6 of 6 from three-point range.
Trent Tucker? Who's Trent Tucker?
He's short.
At least it's in the sport tick.
Zimmerman battling away through the foul. He used to play in the NCAA.
Minnesota really could have used him yesterday against Indiana. I like Bobby Knight's quote about the governor. The governor got all over him when they beat him over at Bloomington about the referees. He said he better be concerned about the budget and about the deficit in Minnesota.
Bobby feels it this year, doesn't he? I can tell by watching him. He thinks his team can get it done, doesn't he?
Yeah, but is Henderson coming back? I mean,
you got Graham back, Jimmy. That'll help on
can't do it without Henderson.
I agree with you. I think there's.
You guys believe that? Huh?
Oh, I don't think they can win it without Henderson. They're a Sweet 16 at best without him.
Oh, there is the. That will get the Cameron crazy.
This is one of the places
you don't want to do that. No. Any place, but
right,
not Cameron.
Here.
Okay, you can do it at Paulie.
Fine, that's fine.
Don't come here, Zim.
At least he came back.
Is he happy?
He's relieved. Timeout. We'll return to ABC's college basketball after this message and a word from our ABC station.
The Buick LeSabre.
Great with kids at camp. I was fortunate enough to have him come to camp, and it was just wonderful with the kids.
So Bobby Hurley now with 13 assists, gentlemen. Needs 7 to break it. 6.5 minutes to go. 67-59.
I'll tell you why the 13 assists are even more impressive. Playing without Grant Hill, another offensive weapon to get the ball to finalize.
And Duke is content to let that clock run.
Are you surprised by the defense of UCLA playing soft?
When you're down on the road by so many.
And deep to Lang.
You got to go play. Got to play. Down by 10 now.
On the move. Coming back is Butler.
Where has he been? Look at that athletic ability. He run the court, super quickness.
Duke would be more than happy to exchange baskets to let the clock run down. UCLA picking up a little bit higher. You got to go after him a little bit.
They're trying, though, to execute and get a little backdoor cut out of this set, hoping that you do extend.
Everybody's so afraid to go pressure Hurley out there. You think he goes by you, and they got a 5-on-4. So he's just being a threat.
You know, Eddie's got to put a little more pressure on that basketball. He's quick enough. Yeah, he is. He respects Hurley's ability to penetrate.
Inside out. There's Hurley.
The three. Ooh, that Butler rebounds. He's come alive. 8 points here after only 2 at the intermission, and now Edney.
He can really run the court, Butler. He got down. He was the first guy down the floor.
Here's Tarver.
Here's where O'Bannon's got to get alive for him.
Zimmerman passed it up, and they got it to O'Bannon lower. Short with the shot. Coming right back. Zimmerman taps it in.
Staying on the glass right now. 6-point game.
Well, they got excellent. They got excellent athletes.
Well, what will Bobby Hurley perform on this trip?
Playing the same offense.
They really run those curl moves. They missed Hill. They should have had him a little earlier.
Parks was open over here, too, on the low blocks. Now they pound it into him. Here he is.
That was a great pass. Right to the baseline side where there was no help. He led him perfectly.
So that
is number 14. Is that
they now credit him with 15. It's 2 at a time when you're home. When you got the home score down.
And they retire your jersey that day.
That's like a Wilt Chamberlain rebound with my guys up in Philly.
What about when Chamberlain got the 100 in Hershey?
No one's seen the tapes yet. By Collins, and that's a big foul. That's number 6 on Duke and this half, and that's 2 on Collins.
I'll I'll tell you, Jim, what rule I'd like to see instituted in college basketball. The last 2 minutes, the NBA rule. Stop the clock so you eliminate the fouling, which is done deliberately to stop the clock, and wipe out the 10-foul rule. I think that's ridiculous, going to shoot the 2.
This is a big period here for the Bruins. They've fallen back 71-63.
But you're still going to foul. Now they're going zone.
Zone
But
defense.
you're still going to foul even if you stop the clock, because if they have the ball, the only way you're going to get an opportunity to get it back.
But a lot of times they just stop it.
The only thing I don't like about the zone, the only thing I don't like when you have the lead of 8 is you give up 3-point shots.
And you get a little passive, too.
But UCLA did not attack it quickly. Now they get into zone.
Nice cut, nice pass, nice catch, good score.
What's really been impressive by UCLA is the fact that they haven't folded. So many teams fold here whenever Duke gets an 8 to 9 point lead.
It is interesting, both the offensive strategy and the defense in this situation. There's only 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Duke's willing to keep it on the perimeter and then make a quick basket move, and UCLA's letting them do it.
A year ago in Pauley Pavilion with 3:06 to go, these two teams were tied at 61, and the Blue Devils outscored them the rest of the way 14-4. Now a turnover, and here comes Edney. And hits O'Bannon in low. And O'Bannon pulls him closer. That's 19 for Ed.
What a great catch by Eddie O'Bannon, and what a play by Tyus Edney to lead
And
him.
maybe that's a good way to play. I mean, it's almost UCLA is saying, hey, we're just going to hang around here, but you would think you got to come out and guard people more. Jimmy Herrick is telling his team to go back, play soft. He's telling them, he's waving them to play soft.
Bench scoring, UCLA 9, Duke Zippo.
Hurley's got to be cognizant of the ref counting, and he is.
Marks puts it down on O'Bannon, and the foul is called, and that's number 3.
Fouls on number 31 and O'Bannon.
In that game last year, UCLA was 0 for 14 from three-point land in that loss.
Maybe that's a good reason you go zone.
Well, there's the head fake. Doesn't beat him to the spot.
Yep. Lang is shooting 65% from the line. So this is obviously.
Blakeney checks in.
Ooh.
That was a big matchup last year. Both clubs way on top, and that was the game where Bobby Hurley came off the bench because he had that injury, remember, to his foot.
I think Blakeney's in for. Oh, and here's the wisdom miss. Oh, what a nice tap
to Hurley by Cherokee Parks.
Excellent play by Parks, bringing the ball back out.
Gives you the new 45. You got to go out and play him some.
Why not deny the ball to Hurley? Don't let Hurley touch the ball. Let other people touch it.
I think Edney's trying to do that now. Look at Edney. He's up real high.
Yeah, he's trying to keep it away from him. Watch Hurley go back door on him.
I think Hurley's got to go get the ball. Got to go get the ball.
See, now he'll play soft.
Now I can't believe you're playing soft. Down by 4 and the clock's running.
Well, he's afraid of the penetration.
I know.
There's still 2 free possessions
Yeah, but
allowed
one
here,
bucket,
Jim.
it's over. You score here against the zone, it's over.
Look at his zoning now. He came
That's
out of
what
a man-to-man.
You're gonna get you could get nice penetration. Oh, and
On
a
a steal.
turnover.
Butler bounces to Tarver and has it knocked away by Hurley. Out of bounds, UCLA ball, but he saved a field goal, didn't he?
He saved an open layup. A great play to get his hands on that basketball.
A minute and a half to go. Duke 71, UCLA 67.
To play this game, you got to have the drive. You got to have the moves. You got to have the love. But most importantly...
Hey, man, you got the ball? No, I ain't got the ball. You got it? Say what?
No, you got to have the ball.
Bring the ball. Somebody better bring the ball. Supposed to bring the ball?
Hey, Chumps. Want a game? The new street ball. It's a Rawlings, it's only $4.99 and only at Pizza Hut. Get one, because nobody plays without the ball.
Coors Cut, a non-alcoholic brew, tastes so much like beer, it'll fool them out. For the taste of beer, let the cutter flow. Your body knows the difference, but your mind don't know. Oh, taste in Coors Cutter. Your body knows the difference, but your mouth don't know. Oh, taste Coors Cutter. Your body knows the difference. Cutter tastes like beer because it's brewed like beer. But the mouth, I don't know.
When your home is damaged,
State Farm is there fast. You see, when you have a homeowner's insurance claim with State Farm, you report it to your agent, and right away we team up with State Farm claims people.
We work with your agent to avoid needless hassles and delays so you can get your home back together as soon as possible.
Our teamwork speeds your claim. It's another reason why State Farm is such an outstanding homeowner's insurance value. State Farm is there.
Let's take a look at today's Pizza Hut delivery of the game, and for all he's done in the NCAA, Pizza Hut should give Bobby Hurley a franchise. He's dished out 15 today, needs 5 for the national record. I don't know if the scorer gave him one during the timeout, but we've still got 15, and that's the Pizza Hut delivery of the game from Mr. Hurley. Now UCLA ball, trailing by 4, minute and a half to go, gentlemen.
Brett, let me say something. Although I've not agreed with Jim Harrick's decision, the way he's played, it's worked. He's only 4 points down. Couldn't get it in. Good timeout. But I didn't agree with the way they're playing, but it certainly has been effective.
Leaves Herrick and the Bruins with 1 timeout. Duke has 3 to go.
I'm paid to buy the high.
Well, Dick Bobby Hurley has delivered 55 assists in his last 4 games.
Brent, here's another delivery against the 2-3 zone. Freeze it right here. See how Lang gets behind the 2-3 alignment, and what a perfect feed. I mean, you talk about timing and perfect execution. Also a great catch by Lang.
All right, Dick, what do you assume here? You think UCLA, Duke goes to the zone, it plays its man-to-man. UCLA going to go to O'Bannon and try and get it inside?
I would try to go to O'Bannon or Tarver for the middle range jump shot off penetration by Edney.
And UCLA went back to its, Duke goes back to its man-to-man, its best defense. Yeah, I like to see Edney try and penetrate.
Yeah, he's got to get the ball and use his dribble penetration.
O'Bannon turns it over. Lang got it away from him on the pass.
Edney needed to have the basketball there.
That's a perfect example how your point guard's got to handle the ball at that crucial moment. See how Hurley will come and get the ball?
Come and get it. You got to come and get the ball. 5 seconds.
And Edney getting on him too closely.
It's a good foul, though. You got to make that foul. 56 seconds left.
That possession really could be big. That turnover where Edney didn't run to the basketball.
Well, there's our prime time lineup tonight at ABC. Life Goes On, America's Funniest Home Videos, America's Funniest People, and the movie Not in My Family, all tonight here on ABC.
80% free throw shooter, Bobby Hurley at the line.
I just think he loves pressure, Brent, Jimmy. I really think that he just excels in a pressure environment. Think about this, what he's done as a point guard. 2 national championships and the final game. And in high school, won a high school championship every year he played.
He'll probably wind up at Sacramento and we'll never hear from him again.
New York will put Greg Anthony on the bench.
It's 19 for Hurley.
See, Edney's got to have the basketball. Now he's got to get it back.
You see Hurley get over the top of the screen?
Tarver turns into Lang, double team, and they come again. Defense did it the last 2 trips for the Blue Devils.
This game
39 seconds to go. The Blue Devils are going to win again in Cameron, and defense did it in the end.
They did a great job of keeping the ball away from Edney at the end of the game.
Yeah, but I think UCLA kept it away from him. He needed to go back and get it, and they had to give it to him.
It's a shame because he played an excellent game. And as Brent's favorite people, the Cameron Crazies.
I love those Crazies.
Future Secretary of State.
That's right.
Look at this guy. He's going to be a...
Their parents pay upwards of $20,000 a year for their children to come here and enjoy these basketball games.
But if I recall last year or sometime, Brent, you went up. I think you took a trip up in the stands with him.
No, you didn't. I didn't ask for a rematch today.
I've had a few of those trips, and they're wacky, and they make you as wacky as can be.
That is the first bench point by Duke today. With this free throw just a moment ago by Blakely. Amazing. Hurley leads the way with 19. Last 20 seconds coming up.
I don't think, Brent, UCLA hurt itself in the eyes of people in the country and their conference. I think they played a Terrific game.
There's another assist.
No,
Blakey gave it up. Blakey doesn't know. We want the record.
I know. I want to see the record. That could have been 3. They could have given him 3 assists on that one, right?
You come back and watch the Maryland game Wednesday and let me know how it looked.
Okay, I'll be here.
Hey, let me just say this on behalf of Jimmy Herrick.
Okay.
He gave me these numbers, and he was pleading for his conference. He said, California, take a look. They beat Wake Forest. Oh, there's the hug. They bow to him. There's his proud mother.
If this keeps up, they won't retire the jersey. They'll just stuff him out here in the entranceway.
Jimmy Herrick was telling me today, he said, hey, Cal beat Wake Forest and Oklahoma State, who's second in the Big 8. Arizona beat Cincinnati. He was telling me, for example, that Arizona State beat Memphis State, who's tied for the Great Midwest. He said, our conference is not that bad. He was a lawyer.
I believe Jimmy Herrick has been ejected for 2 technicals.
You're giving him a build-up, and he gets 2 Ts.
I think he wanted some air time. He wanted some air time.
I thought he was going down to congratulate Bobby Hurley
That's
on
what
the
I
game
did.
he had today when he got in front of the Duke bench, and I didn't realize it until he kept on going that it was the early exit here for Mr. Herrick.
Hey, Brent, I thought the same thing. I was just ready to say, what a classy move. He's going to shake Hurley's hand.
The frustrations of big-time college coaching. Dick Barrow just said, get out of here. You've been out of the coach's box too many times, and enough is enough.
See, we're too high up. We don't get a chance to feel that, Jimmy V.
Well, you'll have to talk to Tom Butters, the AD at Duke, see if we can get on the floor.
Hey, great working with you, Jim. Super senior.
You too, Richard.
And you too, Brent.
No, I see Brent.
There is the perch, folks. That's
Here we
the
are.
position where we look down on the crazy activity here in one of the greatest basketball arenas in the country.
It really is, Brent. It's just a special environment with the students right on top of the floor. And this guy makes it even that much more exciting for the Cameron Crazies.
Let me remind everybody, we're coming to the top of the hour, and we're going to close this off quickly, but you want to stay tuned for your local news, and in some instances, the ABC network news. We understand, and some of you already know, that there has been confirmation that that was a bomb which rocked the trade towers on Friday. Mentioned Derek Phelps of North Carolina. His mother is employed by a company inside one of those towers. The young man was, of course, upset until he got word from relatives in New York that she was all right, and so we're glad to hear that. But you'll want to stay tuned for that news story coming up. Here it is, the Duke Blue Devils. They have wrapped up another victory. They're now 22-5 on the year. UCLA falls to 18-9. 78-67 is your final score here today. And we'll remind you that coming next Sunday on ABC, we've got a doubleheader. Many of you want to be there for the first one at 1:30. Duke and North Carolina. That's one of a classic for Julie Moran, Dick Vitale, Jim Dalvano. I'm Brent Musburger. So long, everybody.
Remind you that anytime's a great time to stop and smell the pizza. Buy Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. By State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by Coors Cutter non-alcoholic brew. Its genuine beer taste will fool your mouth. Saturday, ABC Sports rolls in with the flagship City Open. Then on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Quaker State Professional Boxing presents the fight of the year. It's the network premiere of the Riddick Bowe Evander Holyfield War. Later, stay tuned for World News Sunday over most of these ABC stations. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
A promotional fee.
NCAA title game are among today's topics. First up, the Duke-UCLA game. You just saw it. Last year, the Blue Devils traveled across country and whipped the Bruins in their own building. Was reciprocity the word for the day? No, but the Bruins did give it a shot. Big day for Bobby Hurley. Of course, he had his jersey retired, hanging in the rafters. And Grant Hill still out with that sprained toe. Duke running early. Antonio Lang was fouled, hits it Great shot there. Bobby Hurley gets a turnover after Thomas Hill knocked it away. The lay-in. Duke looking good early. Hurley this time finds Cherokee Parks, who drops it in. Duke looking good. Back comes UCLA. Tarver with a jumper. He's got it. He had a good game today. Inside, Antonio Lang emphatically dunks it, and Duke leads at the half. Second half, nice ball movement by the Bruins. Ed O'Bannon scores here. Mike Krzyzewski a bit concerned. Not to worry. Thomas Hill in the lane. Some nice English. Count it. And then watch this. Cherokee Parks working the boards. He gets the slam. Boys, he's been playing well in the last few games. Playing good D also was chief. Get it out of here. Three-pointer by Hurley. Duke beginning to pull away. Down the stretch, they forced 3 key turnovers. UCLA shot itself in the foot here. Duke's defense had a lot to do with it. Jim Harrick was ejected from the game late. Duke goes on to win it by a score of 97 to 78. 97 to 70, excuse me, 78 to 67. We'll get the score right. Duke is now 22-5. Now for the post-game wrap-up, let's switch live to Cameron Indoor Stadium and check in with Drew Smith. Drew?
All right, Dwayne, thank you very much. Yes, I'm here with the man of the hour, the man of this day, Duke guard Bobby Hurley. Bobby, congratulations on a win here today, but more importantly, I guess, was your jersey being retired and what that means to your career here at Duke University.
Yeah, it was a special moment for me. I think it ranks up there with the national championships that we've won. I was just really proud. I think just having my parents here to share it with me was something nice, too.
Was it emotional for you? I know it was emotional for your mom. I think I looked over to her when you presented her with the jersey, and she had tears in her eyes.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about it for a while now because I've known, and, you know, so it wasn't as special as, you know, I was really concentrating on the game, and, you know, my mom was extremely emotional, and she was in tears, so that was kind of nice.
And your dad, of course, being a coach, he's all business, so it's nothing special to him, I guess.
Yeah, he was similar to me. He was thinking about the game, I think, and, you know, he shook my hand also, and I'm sure he was extremely proud, too.
Let's talk about this ball game in particular now. You had 15 assists. You're 5 away from the record, 4 more to tie Chris Corciani. You can do that at home next Wednesday against Maryland.
Yeah, I would like to do it at home. I think I've really picked it up in the last couple of weeks, and a lot of credit goes to my teammates for doing a great job of finishing plays for me and getting those assists.
This ball game in particular, how would you describe this? You had a small lead at halftime.